Chicago Fire missed its perfect chance at replacing a beloved character. Ignoring concerns about upcoming cast changes in Chicago Fire, the series snubbed its chance to cast a much-needed replacement for a Firehouse favorite who tragically passed years ago. It's no great secret that the Chicago Fire cast is in a period of upheaval. Ritter and Carver are meant to depart in Chicago Fire Season 14, hopefully with their lives intact. Speculation abounds regarding how Carver and Ritter might be written out, with the Chicago Fire Season 13 finale offering little in the way of answers. But not every departed character plays a vital enough role on the crew to necessitate an immediate replacement. Unfortunately, that means one beloved character who sadly perished off-screen has yet to receive a proper substitute. While Stellaride's Chicago Fire pregnancy will bring one bundle of joy to Firehouse 51 in the near future, Stella Kid's first baby on the show was Darren Ritter's rambunctious polka-dotted puppy, Tuesday. Although not everyone, particularly Herman, supported the nerve-wracked Pooch's presence when she was first introduced in Season 7, she quickly won the hearts of the entire 51 family. It's worth noting that Tuesday wasn't the first Firehouse dog in Chicago Fire. That honor belongs to Pouch, who appeared for a few episodes in Season 4 before finding his forever home. But a Dalmatian is naturally a more classic fit for a Firehouse, and Chicago Fire gave Tuesday her own side stories to keep her from feeling like a mere prop. She was lovably chaotic, tearing through the station whenever Ritter tried to leash her. Stella, Tuesday's biggest fan, tried to train her for a talent competition, and the result was that Tuesday was publicly accused of mauling a little girl for adorably licking peanut butter off of her face. Her real-world death after Season 10 left a void. After his owner's leg was eviscerated in a freak accident, Fridge found a temporary home at the 51 thanks to Carver taking him in and Kid getting Pascal's permission. Carver leaned into Fridge's companionship until he was ready to tell his friends that Tori left him, and he likely would have kept Fridge for good had the owner not survived. Not only did everyone from Truck to Ambo embrace Fridge immediately, but it seems that Fridge had a prior relationship with Chicago Fire itself. During the stop, drop, and roll talent contest, a dog with seemingly identical markings stands just behind Tuesday, as pictured in this article's first gallery. Clearly, some clairvoyant knew the 51 would need a backup dog. If Pouch made the concept of a Firehouse dog enjoyable, Tuesday made it borderline essential. Stella's 10 times brighter when Tuesday's in the room, and Herman goes from being her biggest detractor to one of her most eager supporters. And with Ritter's Chicago Fire exit impending, replacing Tuesday is a way of preserving the spirit Darren brought to the 51. And just as Fridge appeared at one of Carver's low points, a new Firehouse dog could be a source of relief and comfort in a station house that's consistently besieged by tragedy. With Monica's death still fresh, and with Carver and Violet's Chicago Fire romance seemingly nearing its end, the crew could benefit from a wagging tail and a friendly face. Network dramas can be emotionally compelling, but they require bright spots amid the darkness. Chicago Fire can milk a lot of this out of Herman, arguing about Certs and Uber ratings, or Novak teasing Damon about his unwillingness to commit. But nothing sells happiness like a dog. With Pouch, Fridge, and Tuesday gone, it's time for a more permanent 51 has seen its fair share of heartbreak, farewells, and stunning reinventions. Yet for all the tears and turnover, few losses stung as much as the death of Brian Otis Ivonsek. Played with wide-eyed humor and unexpected depth by Yuri Sardarov, Otis wasn't just the comic relief. He was the soul of the team, the glue that held many together when things got too heavy. His death in Season 8 wasn't just a plot twist. It was a seismic shift. And while the show has continued to burn bright in ratings and drama, one truth remains for many fans. Chicago Fire missed its golden opportunity to honor Otis's legacy with a character worthy of that emotional torch. Enter Gianna Mackey, the one who could have been. When Gianna Mackey, a Droyan Ray, arrived in Season 9, the winds of possibility howled through 51. A firecracker of personality, she had the charisma to rival Otis, the energy to keep up with Joe Cruz, Otis's best friend, and the potential to bring a new dynamic to the team. Her backstory was rich, a tough upbringing in a rough neighborhood, a close bond with paramedic Violet McCamey, and an innate toughness wrapped in a compassionate heart. In her brief time on the show, Gianna showed bravery, empathy, and a bright spirit that could have become a cornerstone of the Firehouse. Fans quickly picked up on her spark. She had the nerve to stand up to bullies, the skills to keep cool in high-pressure calls, and a playful charm that reminded many of Otis in his earliest days. But just as she began to carve out her place in 51, she was gone. An abrupt exit, an unanswered question. Gianna's departure came swiftly and with little narrative payoff. A transfer to another house, a few tearful goodbyes, and that was it. The show chalked it up to opportunity and timing, but for viewers, it felt like a door slammed just as it was being opened. What if Gianna had stayed? What if, instead of a fleeting side character, she had stepped into the space Otis left behind, not to replace him, but to reflect him in her own unique way? Imagine the stories that could have unfolded, Gianna and Cruz developing a friendship rooted in shared grief and hope. The two might have bonded over memories of Otis, creating touching, grounded moments of remembrance while forging something new. Her camaraderie with Violet could have evolved into a powerhouse paramedic duo, reminiscent of the Casey Severide dynamic, loyal, layered, and loaded with mutual respect. Most of all, she could have been the light-hearted foil to the Firehouse's increasingly tense atmosphere. In the wake of heavy arcs, Stella's trauma, Kelly's conflicts, Brett's emotional roller coaster, Gianna could have offered balance, much like Otis once did. A mist mirror. What made Otis special wasn't just his humor, it was his heart. He believed in second chances, in family beyond blood, and in the goofy rituals that made 51 feel like home. Gianna had the rare ability to channel all of that with her own flavor. We never got to see her fully shine. We missed out on her cracking jokes during shift dinners, pulling pranks with Ritter, or sneaking in heartfelt moments with Patience the way Otis used to. She could have kept the legacy of lightness alive in a show that too often leans into darkness. And while newer characters like Carver and Gibson have brought intensity and intrigue, they haven't brought the same kind of emotional ease. Gianna could have been that bridge. Firehouse 51 needs a heart again. Every ensemble drama needs its emotional anchor, the person who lifts spirits, cracks the ice, and keeps the chaos grounded. For years, Otis was that person. After his death, Cruz carried that torch briefly, until grief consumed him and maturity changed him. Now, with Casey gone, Kid overwhelmed, and Severide always on edge, there's a gaping hole where warmth and levity used to be. This was the moment, post-Otis, post-TCOVID, in the rebirth of a new era, for Chicago Fire to elevate a character who embodied joy and resilience. Instead, they let Gianna slip away. The legacy that could have been. Picture this: a future episode in which Gianna, now a confident and battle-hardened leader at her new firehouse, returns to 51 for a special joint operation. She shares a quiet scene with Cruz, no words, just understanding. A photo of Otis hangs in the background. They both look at it and smile. The connection is still there. Or maybe, had she stayed, we would have watched her rise within 51 itself, becoming a bridge between the new recruits and the veterans, keeping Otis's memory alive not by imitation, but evolution. But that's not what happened. Instead, Chicago Fire chose to cut her story short, and with it, let slip a chance to heal an old wound in a powerful way.